Hello, hello, hello. Welcome, everyone. Welcome to our live session about differences between coaching and therapy. And today, together, we will be navigating the waters of coaching and therapy, and we'll have hopefully more clarification about where does coaching and therapy begin, or the opposite, where does therapy and coaching begin. And I have some bad news. Victoria, unfortunately, our guest speaker, couldn't be here because of a health emergency. She had to go to a hospital and see a doctor. So that's a last minute emergency. So I apologize for that. But we are all humans, and health is a priority. And I couldn't ask her to be here when she has such an emergency. And we're going to work on rescheduling where she is present as well. So for those of you who don't know me, my name is Talia Wardar. I am a master certified coach, psychologist, and expressive arts therapist. And I've been coaching for 16 years now, and I've been practicing therapy for 17 years now. And in total, I have more than, gratefully, I have more than 12,000 hours of coaching and therapy. So we received so many questions. So thank you, everyone, for really showing big interest in this live session. And we have so many questions, and I will do my best to cover all of the questions and answer your questions, and maybe provide you some new insight, and also hopefully share some information that will clarify your questions and your confusion about the fine line between coaching and therapy. And so we received so many questions, but if you have comments and questions, you can use the chat here and text your comments and questions, so that we can have an interactive live session all together. And so shall we start? Let's start. Wonderful. So can we start with the yes? Yeah. We have an agenda, by the way. We have an agenda, but since we received so many questions, what I'm gonna do is, I will cover the agenda through and in between the questions. I hope this helps everyone. So Pamela, current agenda looks. Thank you, Pamela. Questions, Pamela, please don't hesitate. Just message us. Thank you. And next question, please. Hi, Annalisa. I am aware of the difference between coaching and therapy. However, in my opinion, coaching can provide psychological help, as even friendship often can, in cases that do not involve medical or mental conditions. So coaching is also psychological support. Is this statement correct? The relationship of coaching is very healing if the relationship is right. For those of you who maybe were my students, you will remember that I always put emphasis on the relationship. The relationship has a healing impact for sure. But let's review the definition of coaching according to International Coaching Federation, and let's review and analyze together. And I will give a yes or no to your question, Annalisa, after we review and analyze. Okay, so module 1 of the core foundations and the business coaching program, we cover the definition of ICF coaching, International Coaching Federation's coaching, and definition of flow coaching. And we also covered the nature of the relationship and what it takes to build the right relationship and establish the right relationship from the very beginning. So we covered that, and I'm gonna touch upon those. I want to bring up those again to just refresh our memories, okay? And for those of you who are not yet coaches, I know in the audience there are people who are interested in becoming a coach and considering their options. This will help you understand and clarify what coaching really is and what coaching is really not. And then hopefully it will help you to make an informed decision. So ICF defines coaching as a thought-provoking creative partnership process. And I really would like to put emphasis on this description of, like, it's a thought-provoking creative partnership. So that's very important. Please remember this. And this partnership is a process that aims to inspire individuals and maybe teams as well to maximize their personal and professional potential. So the nature of the relationship is a thought-provoking creative partnership, and the process itself has the goal of inspiring clients so that they can maximize their personal and professional potential. Can we move on to the, yes. So what is coaching then, right? Coaching does not aim to focus on past failures and mistakes, but rather focuses on generating alternatives related to the future. So it is about really helping the person, the individual, or teams or groups of people to think about possibilities that haven't been obvious to them before or that haven't been thought before. And it's about really generating results, like positive results that can be monitored and measured. And also in the nature of the relationship, coach is a facilitator, professional coach. We're still talking about ICF coaching, is a facilitator, and the individual finds the answers within themselves with the help of the coach. And then what is flow coaching, right? What is flow coaching? So the nature of the relationship of flow coaching has focused on unleashing the client's creative potential towards creating a positive shift in desired aspects of life, right? So it's a creative support. We define coaching as a creative support and partnership structure. So there's a structure. It's not just, having a random conversation with the person, with the individual, but there's a structure. And that structure really designed in a way to help the client to have a sense of progress and momentum that will lead them towards and into meaningful performance. So the mindset of a flow coach is that we see life as a creative process. It's a creative process, and in every moment of life, that creative process can be activated. So, I hope this analysis helps, with this statement of Annalisa. Can we bring Annalisa's statement, please? So please continue. Yeah. And so coaching is also psychological support. Is the statement correct? Yes, that statement is correct, because everything is about psychology, and to make a positive change and transformation, it is only possible if we make some inner work, right? And that inner work is related to psychology. Thank you, Annalisa. This is a great question and great wisdom and insight. Cynthia. Hi, Cynthia. Um, Thank you. We are very excited too. So I'm wondering if it is possible to have both a therapy and coaching practice. Yes, I have it. I'm an example. And Victoria, who couldn't make it today because of a health emergency, she's also a therapist. She owns a clinic and she is also a flow coaching program graduate. So she has been doing both and offering both services to her clients. When working with clients, how do you draw that line? Would you ever offer both services to the same client? That's a great question. Thank you. So it all takes us to the initial agreement. So in the initial agreement, and for those of you who took the Core Foundations or business coaching program with us, you might remember the session, I can't remember the number of the session, that we talk about how to establish the agreement of the relationship, right? So in the agreement, in the initial agreement of the coaching relationship, we define about the goals of the relationship. So, and in that agreement, we should decide if it is going to be a coaching engagement or therapy engagement. You can't have it both simultaneously as with the same person, with the same persona. You're either a coach, professional coach, or you're either a therapist for the same client. So simultaneously, you can't just say, oh, in this session we can have a therapy session, and in the next session we can have a coaching session. That is against the ICF ethics, the ethics of International Coaching Federation. Okay, you have to have a clear distinction between therapy and coaching in the initial agreement. That's very important. However, suppose that you had a therapy client in the past, and the therapy client comes back in a year, in 2 years, and sometimes they come back in 10 years. It happens to me all the time. And they want to, they have some new goals or new issues, new challenges, and you speak with them, and then you might offer based on the based on the goals or based on the issues that you hear from them, you might offer them coaching, or the opposite, like you might offer a past coaching client therapy. That's possible, but you can't have the same persona with the same client simultaneously in the same time zone. I hope this clarifies your question. Cynthia, it's wonderful. I needed a does Flow certified coaching equips us with tools to coach and give therapy as the case may be? That's a great question. Thank you, Anindita. Maybe I explain it with the ICF, like going through the ICF ethics and standards. So according to International Coaching Federation, can we bring up the question, please? Yeah. According to International Coaching Federation, we are not able to offer like tools and processes both for coaching and therapy. So we can't do it, right? And also, as I explained in the previous question, you can't have the same persona with the same person, with the same client simultaneously. That's not possible. But what we provide is tools based on positive psychology and processes based on solution-focused psychology, and also creative therapies that are adapted and can be used within the context of coaching. So you can have a coaching and therapy relationship in the same relationship, like in the same contract, with the same person. Let me be more specific. Suppose that you have a client and you have an agreement for 10 coaching, 10 sessions, let's say. You can't just, go back and forth between coaching and therapy within those 10 sessions. That's not possible. Okay. That's not ethical, and that's against the ICF standards and code of ethics, and you wouldn't be in compliance. However, after then that 10 sessions are over, you can offer maybe therapy in the future or coaching in the future. Okay. And here, I would like to maybe, okay, can we bring slide number 4, please? Yeah, because I want to answer Anita's question with further detail. Benefits of flow coaching relationship. The slide, benefits of flow coaching relationship. So we really need to be clear about the benefits of flow coaching relationship. So that will answer your question further, because if we're clear about the benefits of the coaching relationship, then we can prime our clients and when we're establishing the agreement, and maybe helping them gaining clarity about the differences between and the expectations also between coaching and therapy. So if we decide that, if we decide that client in the initial agreement, that takes us to the initial agreement, if we both decide that client needs maybe therapy more than coaching, then the agreement should be mainly focusing on the therapeutic relationship, and same goes for the coaching relationship. Okay, so then let's be clear, let's gain some clarity about the benefits of coaching relationship, specifically flow coaching relationship. So it's really about helping the client to gain some fresh perspectives, helping them to work through their paradigms and established belief systems and limitations, and also maybe realistic expectations about their professional and personal challenges, and helping them to see opportunities as well as challenges, and help them to come up, work through their reasoning habits, like judgment capacity in any decision-making process, and help them transform their habits around their judgment capacity, right? And of course, help them to gain increased self-confidence, increased focus, increased effectiveness, sense of effectiveness also, and productivity habits, time management habits, focusing, concentration habits, a general sense of satisfaction with life and attainment of personal goals, and hopefully help them to experience increased sense of flow. So I want to give an example here. Recently, a client approached me, and she has been on therapy for many years. Yes, please. She has been on therapy for many years, and she has gained great benefit, huge benefit from her therapy. But then she said, she's an immigrant in North America, and she has succeeded a lot. She has made huge progress, but recently she realized that she's tired, almost like having a sense of burnout, because she has been working very hard. Although she's accomplished, she feels accomplished, she's always feeling like, okay, what's next, and she asked, like, she told me that she needs maybe a life coach. She approached me to inquire if that is what she needs. And upon asking a few questions to her, I realized that, she's still keeping the same habits and the mindset of an immigrant, although she's established here. And because of that, she hasn't updated her habitual mindset to her current reality. Her habitual mindset and perception is still like, working like, oh, I'm a newcomer, I have to work hard, but she's like burning herself out because of the lack of that update. And that's why she doesn't feel content with what she has, and she feels that she needs more and more, and that unfortunately doesn't lead to increased productivity, but rather increase as her sense of stress and burnout. So that's a very good, like, case of a potential life coaching client. So that client now needs an update about her perspectives, about her mindset, and work through her paradigms about her current reality, and needs a mindset shift from the past to the present, right? Because her present reality has changed. So a coach can initiate and facilitate a successful engagement with such a client, and also help her to make that shift, and have an improved sense of flow and calmness in her life. I think that's a bit long, but a good clarification of how both type of relationships work, right? And can we bring up the flow coaching programs, because I want to continue to explain Anindita's question. So our programs mainly focus on coaching, like, giving you the skills and the tools and understanding and processes about, and methodology, of course, and structure about running successful coaching relationships. And we are not, although we have a strong foundation in psychology and in science-based methodologies, we are not establishing a therapeutic relationship as coaches, as flow coaches, right? Because we are in compliance with the ICF. So what are those programs? The Core Foundations program, the Business Coaching program, ICF Level 1 certification track with the full modules 1 to 5, plus mentoring and oral evaluation, performance evaluation, and ICF Level 2 all-inclusive advanced coaching certification through modules 1 to 6, including the oral evaluation at the PCC level as well, and ICF Expressive Arts coaching certification. And can we also quickly go through the dates, please? Just, showing you some of the upcoming programs dates here. I'm not going to spend so much time. You can go to the website www.flowcoachinginstitute.com, and you can also email us at info@flowcoachinginstitute.com, or you can call us from our Toronto office. Thank you. So I hope the question is answered. So can we, yes, Lynn. Hi, Lynn. So what suggestions would you have for when a client starts sharing information about what they have discussed with their therapist. And how far, okay, this question, okay, have two parts, yeah? How far do you let them go down this path, and related, can there be times where coaching can be used to help move forward? Okay. So, again, I will, I want to talk about the agreement. So the agreement is clear that it's a coaching relationship, right? So the client knows and we know, right? But we can have a coaching relationship with a client that has been seeing a therapist. I have clients like this. So there's nothing wrong with that. And they start to share, sharing information about what they have discussed with their therapist. That happens. And everything is situational, of course. There's no one correct answer to this. But in what context they bring, they talk about their sessions with their therapist, in what context, and in what context they share information regarding their sessions. Are they asking for your help, your opinion, and or like, do they want to discuss the same issue with you as well? And how comfortable are you in discussing those issues is really very personal. And if it was me, and it happens, my clients talk about their sessions with their therapist, I listen for a bit to understand the context, like what is the need here, and I ask them, like, questions. So what about that would you like to understand right now, and how would you like to discuss this in this session, and what would be the benefit of discussing this in this session? And then if I feel like we're crossing the line, I would definitely stop and say, like, maybe I'm not comfortable in discussing this further. You can say it, like, there's direct communication. And I would say, like, maybe this is something that you should be discussing with your therapist. You can say it because the nature of relationship is different, right? And this is a very broad question, but maybe let's think about some specific examples to answer this question at best. So maybe the client is bringing I remember a client right now. She, a former client, a past client, she discussed something with her therapist, but she felt disconnected with the therapist's comments, and she felt some misalignment, and she brought it up. She just wanted my opinion, and I said, it's not up to me to give you an opinion on this, but apparently there's a disconnect, or you're feeling misaligned. There's something stirred up within you, and I think it's best that you discuss this with your therapist to clarify, and just be brave and take this to the person who is your therapist, and open up a discussion with them. So what I would coach them around is how to have that conversation with a therapist if there's a misconnect or a misalignment or something stirred up, and sometimes irritation, of course. So I would coach them around having that conversation with their therapist. And there is a second part to that question, yeah. Can we go back to, can there can there be times where coaching can be used to help move forward on something identified through therapy? Exactly, yes, definitely. And I will give you an example. I had a client, past client. He was seeing a psychiatrist, and about his past, and more like, with a focus on the analysis of his relationship with his mother, mostly because it was like, psychotherapy and analytic, processing of his current issues, the roots of his current issues with his wife, let's say. And so they were discussing and analyzing that past relationship, and to resolve the current dynamics between his wife. But they were both in the same company, and the professional skills were missing, and the psychiatrist didn't feel comfortable to help him with those professional leadership skills. And psychiatrist indeed referred him to me, and I worked with him to develop new leadership skills. Like, he was a CEO of the company, and his wife also was in the same company, and help him to learn about new leadership habits, and to change his way of leading, and also how to set boundaries, professional boundaries, and structure the organization accordingly, so that he doesn't mix and project some of the feelings to his wife in the context of the professional coaching relationship. So that was a great example where a psychiatrist indeed referred his client to me to work in the context of coaching. And shall we go through the differences between coaching and therapy, then maybe bring thank you. Let's just go through like some of the construct of both relationships, right? The construct of the focus, model, engagement, how we handle the past in both relationships, and what questions we ask in both relationships, and how do we set goals, or what is the nature of the goals, like what is the goal criteria. Okay, there are flow graduates and flow students in this call, I know. So this might be a repetition to you, but I believe there is no harm in repeating this information because it's a useful information. So in traditional therapy and psychological counseling, the main focus of the relationship is analyzing the past because of experienced current pain, like, or discomfort, and trauma, maybe some of the dysfunctions, and we're talking about also disorders here, and but I will come to that in the model. So there might be some disorders as well that the person is aware of or not, right? So, however, in professional coaching and ICF certification, the main focus is in the present and the future. And the focus is about helping the client to accomplish those goals, like, it's a goal-oriented relationship, make progress, gain momentum, and also achieve results during the course of the relationship. And three things are very important in the coaching relationship: goals, planning, plans, and actions, right? Whereas in the traditional therapy and counseling relationship, you don't have to have those three. And when it comes to the model of traditional therapy has a focus on it's a medical and or clinical, and there is a problem orientation in the model, and also diagnosis is important. Diagnosis of some dysfunctions or disorders or some problems in the relationship, right? And whereas the model in ICF coaching, it emphasizes learning, development, goals, and possibilities, and measurable results. So it's a very different approach. They're both very different approaches in that sense. So when you have a confusion, when you have a confusion, please have this as a benchmark. Am I focusing on potential growth, possibilities, goals, actions, learning and development, and results in the relationship? If you are focusing on those, then you're keeping your coaching mindset. And if you're focusing on the past analysis, then you're losing your coaching mindset and coaching presence. So that takes us to the nature of the engagement, right? So the nature of the engagement in therapy, traditional therapy, really aims to help the client to develop some coping skills, coping mechanisms with some of the challenges that might be past related or trauma related, or some dysfunctions related or disorders related. Whereas the nature of the engagement in the coaching relationship is really working with functional individuals. We are not diagnosing. And if you're finding yourself or your attention going towards like, oh, what is wrong with this person? That means that you're losing your coaching presence. Okay. So what we are curious about is like, ask yourself this question: what is possible for this person? What is the opportunity for this person to grow and learn and make a positive shift? So that's where your curiosity should go. Okay. So that's a good benchmark. And the other thing is that this is maybe more about psychiatry or clinical psychology rather than like counseling. But in the nature of the relationship between the coach and the client, especially in the past, it was stronger. But in psychiatry, it's still stronger. So there's a patient and doctor relationship, right? And so the client is seen as a patient, and that subconsciously or consciously brings up a different dynamic, like a dynamic of hierarchy. You see the person, the psychiatrist, as the expert of your own psychology. So that's the nature, because you see them as the expert, you treat them as the expert. Whereas in coaching, we're talking about a creative partnership. So we are equals, and we don't position ourselves as coaches as like, experts. No, we are equals, and our job is to partner as a thought-provoking partner with the client to help them to have a thought-provoking process. Okay, handling of the past. So the relationship in therapy, in traditional therapy, focuses on analyzing and resolving past issues. In coaching, however, we don't ignore the past of the client. That's not possible, right? And we're not robots, right? But we listen, acknowledge, and then ask, okay, what about that you would like to change in your current reality? What is possible for you? What do you want to do about it? What is the impact of this past issue or past relationship or past engagement that you're aware of that impacts your current life? What is the effect of it in your current life, and what do you want to do about it? And how can this coaching relationship help you to make the shift that you desire? That's a pure, absolute coaching presence. Okay, so we don't ignore, we listen, and then we shift. And traditional therapists ask questions, why, a lot of why questions, and what and how questions, of course. And we ask more what and how and maybe who questions, and we only ask the why question once. And where do we ask it? To help the client gain further clarity about the goals of the coaching relationship. When they share with us, when we ask them, what is it that you would like to achieve in this coaching relationship? And when they share with us, we go further and we ask, why is this important to you? That's the only place that we ask the why question. And whereas a therapist asks the why questions many times, like, why do you feel this way? Why is this happening to you? Why do you have this pattern in your life? Like, so that they can analyze. It's a very different, mindset. I hope this clear as well. And okay, client goals. In the therapeutic relationship, the client goals, they don't have to be identified in the beginning and clarified, and they don't have to be part of the agreement. And in many therapeutic relationships, there's an intake session, but clients do not identify the goals, like, what I want to achieve. It doesn't happen. But however, in the coaching relationship, it's a co-creation process. Client and the coach co-defines the goals of the relationship. So we ask the client, what would you like to achieve in this relationship that would be meaningful for you? And what about that is important for you? Okay, so we ask the client, remember, it's a co-creative, thought-provoking process, right? And the goals are clear from the very beginning, and they are part of the agreement. I hope so far it's clear. Please type your comments, and if it is not clear, ask further questions and let me know if something is not clear, or if you have further questions or even comments. Okay. And okay, Abdul Ghaffar, thank you, Abdul. Is there any time restriction that we need to maintain if client is same for coaching and therapy? Abdul, that's a great question, but I suggest that you really terminate one relationship before you start the other relationship. Or you can, let's say you start a coaching relationship and you realize that maybe a client has past trauma, or maybe some challenges like to follow through. And you if you are a therapist, you feel like, or if you have like, people that as therapists, you feel like maybe a therapeutic relationship might be more beneficial for the client. And then I suggest that you have an honest and transparent conversation with the client. Be careful, you don't say like, you don't diagnose, right? You don't say like, I think you have this and this and this problems. Don't do it at all, because you're not the expert, right? And what you can just say, I feel like, another type of relationship might be more beneficial to you. And if you are comfortable, I would like to, because I'm obliged with the ICF Code of Ethics and Standards, I would like to terminate our current coaching engagement, relationship, and agreement, and maybe start a new agreement with you. Of course, we both have to discuss this and agree on the principles of our new agreement. Okay, so this is very important. Yeah, thank you. So the goal criteria in the therapeutic relationship is very fluid and sometimes intangible. And however, in the coaching relationship, we should come back to the initial goals and check in with the client and ask if these goals are still relevant. What is the progress that we are making? If there is any positive shift experienced, and so on. Thank you, Abdul. That's a great question. And Cynthia, yeah, I think Cynthia, maybe I answered your question, Cynthia. Just want to know how to navigate from coaching to therapy, because Abdul's question was a bit similar. Maybe I answered it. If I didn't, if I haven't answered it, please tell us. You can type. Yeah. Elizabeth, I need help in deciding a niche. I need help in attracting clients. Do you have a therapy credential or mental health credential? Do you have to have? You don't have to have a therapy credential. You don't have to have a mental health credential to become an accredited ICF certified coach. What you need is to go through an ICF accredited coaching training program that gives you the tools and processes, skills that are aligned with the ICF core competencies. That's what you need. And I don't know what specific kind of help you need to decide about your niche, but I suggest that, I see coaching training as like, the big picture of obtaining the required competencies, the required skills. So before you decide, if you are a coach, Elizabeth, I understand, but if you're just, starting, I suggest that you focus on obtaining the skills and competencies of professional coaching. And if you're interested in flow coaching, I would recommend the Core Foundations program strongly, so that you become a confident and competent coach before you decide your niche. And then based on that, you can definitely develop a niche and specialty, but the foundation should be very strong. And the foundation should really give you everything that you need to become a confident and competent coach, to work with diverse people and clients. And even if you decide on a niche, people are different. And working on your muscle of, like, becoming a good coach, becoming a strong coach will help and set a strong foundation for you. Joanne, the distinction is health as described. It would be helpful if noted in separate columns on a chart. Thank you. Joanne, thank you. So we have it in our program and in the course book as well, but we will definitely take your suggestion into consideration. Thank you. And Chal, is there a governing body that sets out the legal and ethical standards to which coaches must adhere? Yes. So let me maybe just explain what ICF is, and then I will come to the question regarding the legal standards. So ICF, International Coaching Federation, is an international organization, and the accreditation through ICF is valid internationally, globally, from New Zealand to Australia to China to Russia to Turkey to Europe, all of the European countries, to North America, to South America. So it's international. The accreditation is recognized internationally, okay? So, and ICF sets the standards of professional coaching relationship and competencies. It describes the competencies of a professional coach. There are 8 competencies, and also they also identify the behaviors of a professional coach, and all of this is taught throughout the program. And also there are exams at the end of the program that we execute on behalf of ICF, and we measure you and give you feedback in comparison and in alignment with those competencies and ethics and standards. So that's what ICF is. Can we bring the question, please? Yeah, thank you. And when it comes to the legal standards and regulation, like, that's very, like, geographical. In North America, I don't know where you're located, Echal, but in North America, there isn't, other than ICF, International Coaching Federation, there isn't a governing body like American Psychological Association. As a therapist, I went through the ethical standards of, like, courses through the ethical standards of American Psychological Association, APA, but coaching is not regulated in North America in that sense. And I'm not aware of such a coaching governing or regulation body from legally in multiple European countries, but I know from our students and coaches, flow coaches, graduates in, for example, Austria, that it's regulated there. Now coaching is regulated in Austria, I know. And in Turkey as well, coaching is legally described as an occupation in Turkey. So I suggest that based on where you live, you make a search, because it's really sometimes local, and there are local regulations you can search up, and you can also consult with the local International Coaching Federation chapter. They might know, but in Canada, I am based in Toronto. In Canada, there is no such a regulation. Okay. I hope this helped you. Thank you. And yes, Anita, does the coaching program need to be customized to each client? So the coaching program, I am reading these questions like the coaching relationship, the coaching agreement need to be customized to each client. Yes, in a way, yes. And that happens within the first 2 sessions, according to me. There's no such rule, by the way, but in the beginning of the relationship, you need to discuss with your client about what do they want to achieve, what specific goals are meaningful for them. And this way you customize the relationship, right? You customize the engagement for each client. And I think this answers your question. And maybe one more thing. Can we go back to Anita's question? Anita, also based on the goals, some of the goals can be achieved in a few sessions. Some of the goals take longer time to achieve, like, more than 6 sessions. And this can be discussed with the client as well. That's also part of the customization, right? But a lot of coaches these days have packages, like, some of them have 6-session packages, 3-session packages, 12-session packages. But I believe in customization because I believe that, we should be following the client's reality and agenda. So I always customize. But the minimum number of sessions, I believe, to help the client to really experience shift should be 6 sessions. And after 6 sessions, you can discuss with the client if they need more sessions, and you regularly check in with the client about the progress, about the shift that they experience, and check in and ask, like, how are we doing so far? Do we need to make any changes to this relationship? So always check in. I really believe in a transparent, organic, and authentic relationship with the clients. Daisy. Hi, Daisy. How are you doing? Okay. Understanding when a client needs to see a therapist would be very helpful. That's a great question, Daisy. This is, of course, a broad topic. Maybe we can have another session just about this question, and bringing experts. But if there might be some signs for you, right? Like, when you are coaching a client, let's say you have an agreement for 6 sessions, and somewhere in between, client starts not to show up or starts to postpone or reschedule more than twice. And you might start to think that maybe client is not committing, right? And then you can have an honest conversation with them. Is this serving you? Is this helping you? Is coaching for you? So that's one thing. So that's one sign. And another sign is, like, we discuss in each coaching session, we discuss about the goals of the session. What do you want to talk about? What do you want to focus in this session, and what do you want to have by the end of this session, right? So we define the goals of each session, and then we finish each session by setting actions, right? So and client comes to the sessions as if they have no clue about your conversations regarding the previous sessions. Then you might, and if this happens more than once, you might ask the client, like, are you benefiting from this engagement? Are you making progress? Is coaching for you? And I wouldn't recommend that you decide whether the client needs a therapist or mentor or a consultant, but you just ask them and facilitate a conversation with them instead of deciding. Because if you decide that client needs a therapist, then you're diagnosing. In a way, you're diagnosing. So we shouldn't be doing it. but just facilitate a conversation, open up an honest conversation. What is it that you need from this relationship? And share your observations with them. Um, like what I have been observing is lack of commitment, of lack of focus. And I really want this engagement to help you, to support you in the best possible way. What do we need? What else do we need? How can I support you further? Do you need something else other than the coaching engagement? So honest conversation is what should happen between yourself and the client. Thank you. So I'm just aware of the time. I can continue to talk for hours on this, but I don't want to consume more of your time. Thank you for listening to me. Thank you for your questions. By bringing up these meaningful questions, you are really contributing to all of the coaching and therapy community. We have a lot of flow graduates like Victoria or others that are both psychologists or therapists and coaches, right? It's just really about knowing and being mindful about the initial agreement and deciding about the nature of the relationship. By the way, we will continue to have more sessions on this topic, and maybe even have one separate session about to answer Daisy's question in more detail. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And I wish you a happy new year. By the way, I forgot to mention it in the beginning. I wish you a happy new year, and hopefully you have a great sense of flow this year. Bye-bye. Bye for now.